Welcome. We are back with National League Basketball on the South Coast once again. And today, Portsmouth took on the Solent Kestrels in the third meeting of the annual tournament for the Mickey Byrne Cup. Now, I'm joined here today with Sarah Rowlands, possibly a legend on the South Coast as well. But, you know, let's just talk about Mick for a moment, because his contribution to basketball was absolutely significant. And we wouldn't be here today, we wouldn't be enjoying this, we wouldn't have 600 people here watching basketball if it wasn't for Mick.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree. And to a certain extent in the Southampton area as well. He was involved in basketball for many, many years, since he left the Navy. In fact, we all said he would die on the basketball court, and he nearly did 4 times. So, he was an amazing man. As a coach, when you're a referee, not a great man on court, but off court, an absolute wonderful man. He put so much of his own money into looking after kids and their basketballs. He's been known to go out and buy trainers for boys and girls and pay for their transport to venues. He was a great man.
I remember he actually paid for me and a load of the team at the time. I think we were about 10. He paid for all of us and took us up to see the Harlem Globetrotters. He was also a fierce competitor, like you said. Absolutely fierce. He didn't like to lose, did he?
No, not at all. No, he many times I've seen him thrown out of games because he was just so exuberant. I remember one time we had a game at Coventry and he'd been banned, but he still came along and he managed to wheedle his way into the court on a terrace, on a balcony somewhere, and we were relaying messages to him by sign language. So he was still coaching the team, totally illegally, but that was the type of man he was.
I got a really fond memory of Mick, which is on any game that was live, because he was obviously heavily involved with the England setup as well, the national setup. But any time there was basketball on TV, you can guarantee you would see Mick walking around in the background as soon as it's on the court.
Yeah, he was always on that television. I think the camera must have followed him on many occasions, because he just, every time he was there, his white hair, his white beard, looked like Papa Smurf, or some people called him Father Christmas, and he just accepted it and loved it. He was just basketball. And,
talking of Mick, he was, again, really generous, and his generosity and his influence on people like us, people here who have then become coaches and players, like, when we say we wouldn't be here, we really wouldn't be here, would we?
No, we wouldn't. And there's many, I mean, the coaches at Portsmouth Force, the majority of them have been coached at some time by Mick, or myself, but and my husband. But he was basketball, Mr. Basketball. Wherever you are in the country, everybody in the country knows or has heard of the reputation of Mickey Byrne, and he was just a wonderful man.
And what do you think Mick would think about this and us holding a game every year in his name? I mean, when we do the game, I actually think of him quite a lot, especially in the moment, and think he would love this. He's looking down, going, "This is my game." Yeah. What do you think?
I absolutely do agree, yeah. The fact that he would just be looking down saying, yeah, I was involved in both of those teams. He never actually coached or anything for Kestrels, but he was a Bev Guyman who started Kestrels, used to bend his ear a lot about how to form a club and stuff. So Mickey was sort of involved in that as well. I think he'd be smiling with a big smile. I get very tearful on a Mick Byrne day, I really do, because he was just great.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of us who do that, especially in today's game. And look, let's talk about today's game. Solent Kestrels taking on the Portsmouth Force. Solent Kestrels are now in Division 1. The whole of Division 1 has moved out of Basketball England into its own separate entity. But to be fair, the Solent Kestrels did actually get promoted from Div 1, so they are a D1 team, and they probably would be top 4 or 5 of D1 based on what we saw today.
Possibly, yeah, I would think so. Most of the players today were from Itchen College, from their basketball programme that they run there, which is a high-level EABL setup. But yeah, I think Andre Arisol definitely makes them a high-level team, without a doubt.
I definitely said his name a lot today, but also, personally, I think one of the unsung heroes of the Solent Kestrels for me is Ash Briggs. He's down there, he's doing all the dirty work, he's doing all those thankless jobs that coaches love to see, and I really do like to see him play. But talking about the Portsmouth Force from the Solent Kestrels, we've got to talk about Matt Hughes, because it takes a lot of guts to leave the Solent Kestrels setup and come and join the Portsmouth Force, and he seemed like he dealt with the game today pretty well.
Yes, I think he did. I noticed there was a few niggly bits between, they were trying to get him hit up, but Matt's never like that. He's played with these guys, Ash Briggs, for example. He's played with him all his junior career. Both guys are local guys, played through Kestrel's programme, have gone their various ways, and Matt's I think he coped with it very well.
And it did feel that maybe the writing was on the cards for the game, even in the early stages. The Kestrels went up with a 10-point deficit pretty quick. And, do you think the writing was on the wall?
I think it was probably, some of the Solent supporters said to me, we might lose this. We're not sure about this, we're not as good as we have been in the past. They proved us wrong, didn't they? I would give credit as well to Ethan Round. Second quarter, he scored 5 threes. So that's 15 points for one guy from 5 shots. So he was pretty good, I thought, as well.
But the Force did try to get back into it, especially in the third quarter, fourth quarter. And I got to talk about Maxwell Moe. So Max has come through the entire Portsmouth Force setup, and he's now played his first competitive game for the men's team. That's a fantastic achievement, not just for the player but for the club as well. And then he goes and hits a big three.
Yeah, absolutely. The crowd went wild when he scored the 3 right at the end of the game. Max is a quiet player. He doesn't make a fuss, but he does have an impact. I also like to see the fact that Marley York played his first game, following in the footsteps of his brother. They should be good for Portsmouth College, City of Portsmouth College, when they play. They're doing the new course that we've set up, so that'll be good, I think.
And look, the Force they actually had 16 players today, so it looks like our new head coach Craig Hughes is still trying to work out what his lineup is, but I think looking at the squad, he's got a lot of options there, especially when you think of someone like Luke Hatfield coming in. He's got quite a lot of experience. When you're 7'2", you're going to have a bit of an impact on the game.
Yeah, I think he just fills that lane. I think the idea is that he's going to fill the lane and hopefully nobody get by him. We do have to have 2 of our junior players on the bench as an agreement with the college, so it looks like Max and Marley might be those 2, although I have heard rumours that they are rotating them, so we might have some new blood as well. The same, Gaith and Johnny and Ollie and Jordan, all from last year. Great impact as well. Nice to see Darren Sam as well.
And it just feels like the Portsmouth Force seems to be making these progressive steps every season. And to start your first home game with over 500 people watching, I think as a club, we're almost at a point where we're going to be selling out most of the games for the season. So, we're progressing really well, aren't we?
Yes, we are. I mean, I can't believe that we get so many fans. The fact that we've got such a big junior programme, and most of the kids want to come and see their team, obviously, but the parents are really into it. And you talk to any of the new members of our club and they really love the games. Your music and the fact that we have all the entertainment, and we have Blue and we have the dancers. We are a proper team.
Blue can be a pain for us sometimes, can't he? But look, the season is about to kick off officially, where we're starting in the cup run, where we're away. But the first home game so far coming up is Saturday the 18th of October, and that's at home to Bristol. But there could be a cup game before that if we win the away game against in the first round.
We need to beat, is it either Sussex or Cobham, I think, and then we get them in the next round, whichever one. So I think, touch wood, we beat them last year, so we got through to the fourth round last year, so hopefully we'll do the same this year.
Well, to sign off the third Mickey Byrne game, what would be your lasting memory of Mick, or favourite memory of Mick?
Mick actually became the adopted granddad to my girls. And it was just through, he just loved my girls and he was there for them, and I just loved him. I loved him.
And so, next home game is Saturday the 18th of October, where Portsmouth Force is taking on the Bristol Flyers. But there could be a game in the middle, so watch this space, watch it for social media. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us. That's an absolute pleasure. And we're signing off for the third annual game, Mickey Byrne game against Solent Kestrels, where the Solent Kestrels have won, but we're not going to say what the score is, but they won. Good night.